back to the bride-to-be. Let's light this up!
Wow.
Sucks. My brother's getting married and I have to deliver.
I know a place. He'll probably get you in.
This is a bad idea.
Where the hell are we?
Don't lose him.
Whoa, 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 whoa. He's turning. Follow him. Oh, shit.
Welcome.
Yes.
Happy stag party! Ladies and gentlemen, we have some first-timers with us tonight.
What do you call this?
Murder.
Gentlemen, what's he want?
Something wild.
I'm just the thing.
They have you locked up? Can you get out?
What the hell is going on?
Who's girl? She's not a girl, man. She's something else.
She belongs to me.
I like you.
The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. The original broadcast date, February 16th, 2024. And, let's see, we got Hannah Fierman on tonight. Now, Hannah could not be with us live. This is pre-recorded. She basically was booked for the show and didn't want to disappoint us, so we arranged to pre-record it, but she got booked somewhere else. And actually got to go make money, is my understanding. We have 3 celebrity announcements tonight, and I will explain that you've heard one of them already. That's why I kind of hedged my bets there, but it's not been official. It's not on the website. It's like it's not front page news, but it definitely needs to be in the paper. We will be giving away Vet City Con and Evansville Horror Con tickets at the bottom of the hour. And I can't even read my note there. Chad Harlan is my co-host. He is here with me live tonight. And not only that, but he was there on hand for Hannah's interview.
It was a great talk. I'm looking forward to hearing more from her and seeing her at Vet City, hopefully.
Yes. And I brought you on here tonight live, Chad, so we can have it out. I cannot believe you do not like Resident Alien.
I tried. I love Alan Tudyk.
What don't you like about it?
Nothing in particular. I got bored.
I admit it's not Tacoma FD, but isn't that the name of that show we like? But it is. I think you got it. Now I have to admit, you have to have a little bit of a twisted sense of humor. Maybe you're just too straight, Maybe you're just too
I
conservative.
thought there were funny parts. It was just slow. I had a hard time. It's still on my list to go back and watch the second season. I just watched the first season. So
well, that's all. I just barely started the first season, and I think it's really, really great. Everybody, also now tonight, I've got my soapbox segment, and I will be talking about people complaining about line caps. So you have that to look forward to, and I'm much better prepared than I was last week. I actually have notes, and I can read it this time. And beyond that, we're about ready to go with this. But yeah, everybody stick around. Like I said, we will have ticket giveaways at the bottom of the hour. We have a celebrity announcements, a couple of pretty good ones. So our guest tonight is Hannah Fierman, best known for VHS, but you have become quite a solid person in the indie film circuit. I actually have watched everything that's on streaming that I didn't have to pay for, Hannah.
Really? So
Yes.
did you get to see Siren, or is that one you had to pay for?
My Chad was going to try to watch it. On IMDb, when I pulled it up, it showed it as a rental, and I, being the cheap bastard that I am, did not rent it. But I probably should have tried, because they actually had another one of yours. Gosh, I don't even know which one it was now. But I tripped. Oh, it was the one with Felissa, the werewolf movie.
Oh, We'll Follow.
Yeah, We'll Follow. They showed it as being for rent only, and then I tripped over it on Tubi, and there it was. So I got to see that. I'm going to start, though. You're famous for VHS, which incidentally, I loved your segment, but the movie gave me seizures. I mean, that I didn't really, but that jerky to create that authentic effect of the VHS, I really did like that part of it.
It's hard. It's hard to watch. I find that I have a harder time watching it the older I get with the shaky cam. Yeah, honestly, I watched that Ryan Gosling movie where he goes to the moon, and it's really authentic, like showing just the crap that they had to go through getting out of the atmosphere and the jiggliness of it, and I almost hurled, really. So yeah, I feel you. If you watch Siren, though, it's the same character, but it's not found footage. It's regular narrative format.
Well, I will make an effort to watch it now, because that was the one that I missed. But no, I did. That was a long way of me saying my favorite was your character and your work in Dead by Midnight.
Thank you.
I loved the Temptress, and I really think you should just, like every convention you go to, you should put that makeup on and do photo ops and become a rich, rich woman.
So there's two Dead by Midnights. There's Dead by Midnight, 11 p.m. Central, and then there's Dead by Midnight, Y2 Kill.
Y2K.
Which one did you?
Y2 Kill.
Y2 Kill. Okay, I wrote and directed. Well, me and my ex-husband wrote together the segment, and I directed the first segment of that movie besides the wraparound. What did you think of that one?
That was actually the best segment, and I did not know that until I actually was going through what you directed on IMDb, and I said, "Oh hell, that's what she directed." And that was, if I had to criticize Y2K as a overall, it was that I felt some of the segments were really good, and a couple of them, honestly, it was just like, okay.
Well, I kind of felt like some of them were not for me. Like some of them were for gamers, and a lot of the nuance was just completely lost on me, because I haven't played video games since, like, well, I don't want to say, but actually, I got COVID, and we got a Switch. We got a Switch, and it's got all the stuff from the 90s and all the Mario Brothers and Sega and Tetris and all that. So I've been playing again recently, but the segment that was about these new video games and all the jargon that goes along with it, I was just like, I have no idea what's going on.
I kind of blanked out, but I did. Like I said, I loved the horror host that you played, and actually, like I said, to me that part was my favorite thing that I've seen you in now. I can't praise you enough for that. I do want to know, was was that an anthology in that they just kind of cobbled together whatever was presented to them, or did they go into the project saying, "Hey, Hannah, we want you to do a segment, and so we want you to do a segment"? How did that come together?
Yeah, so the first Dead by Midnight, 11 p.m. Central, it's harder to find, but it actually came out before Y2 Kill, and it was basically, well, I don't know because I was only an actor in that one, but from what I understood, they had a loose idea of it being set in the 80s, something that would have been on VHS, and horror comedy. And light horror comedy, and then then they did it again for the sequel, which is Y2 Kill, and basically they were just like, we would prefer it was period, but it doesn't have to be. Do whatever you want, and I was just like, how about a little old lady gets revenge on a crooked televangelist, and they're like, go, and I was like, okay, yeah,
Okay, so it was actually kind of between the two options I gave you. The segments were made specifically for that movie, but they were not, there was no overriding theme behind it. Okay.
No, they tried to weave it together with, I think a couple of the filmmakers collaborated with one another, but I didn't collaborate with any of the other filmmakers when it had to do with my segment. But I think that the wraparound piece where I played the Temptress of Terror, it did a good job of sewing it all together.
Now, one more thing I want to ask you before I turn you over to Chad. Your IMDb, as far as the biography part, you really need to get in there and fix that.
I have no idea what's on it.
It says you were born in England. There you are. I mean, it's that and your college. That's it. That's the only biography information.
Go to Wikipedia. The one on Wikipedia is like...
But I'm in the movie business. Wikipedia is for hippies. Anyway, okay. You born in England. When did you come to the States?
When I was 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. That explains why you don't have the accent, obviously.
Yeah, I had it. I had it until I went to public school. And then my brother and I both did, and then we got rid of it because we got teased.
See, now I think people with British accents sound so much smarter than me. I would never tease them for it.
Well, yeah, we got teased relentlessly, and that's okay. We it's still in our repertoire. I can bust out with British accent whenever I want to now. So
we'll probably ask you to do that before the end of the show.
No, I'm not gonna do it for you.
Chad, over to you.
Hey, Chad.
Hello, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I had watched VHS years ago, and I went back and rewatched it for this, and I have to say the way you played Lily was really well represented. I think that you really brought that character out and did a great job. And like Wes said, I was gonna try to watch Siren tonight, and we moved the time up a little bit. So
I'm sorry,
but I can't wait. I'm gonna go watch it as soon as we're done tonight, because I really reminded when I rewatched it how much I enjoyed your portrayal of that character, and I'm interested to see it fleshed out a little more in the movie Siren.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good movie. I don't say that about all of my work, but I really do think that one's a really fun watch.
Well, good. I'm going to look forward to that. But I want to build off a little bit of what Wes started. Is when you came over, how did you develop your love for acting, and specifically your repertoire is hugely horror based, so you obviously worked your way into that genre. Was that a choice or something that just kind of happened?
It was just something that happened, but I'm glad it did. I just think that the horror genre has been expanding more and more into the mainstream just naturally, and I think that anybody who's an actor who hasn't done something that is at least mildly in the genre is probably has been working very long. Because I mean, it's like it's in the cartoons, it's in the teenager romance novels and stuff now. Like, it's everywhere. But as far as like the real proper horror movies, the ones that you're talking about, I just did a lot of independent film, and horror is more welcomed and embraced by the community, the horror community, than dramas and comedies are. And so it's just a natural progression from doing independent work. Boom, you're going to be doing horror at some point. So that's really how I got into it. And I've just got really big freaky eyes, and so there's that.
Well, no, you're very talented at it, and
Thank you.
like I said, your body of work really shows that you've ingrained yourself. How did you turn to acting in the first place? Was that something you desired as a kid, or something that happened later in life?
Yeah, I've been acting since I was a kid, and but that was all theater, musical theater, and then I actually just I went looking for film work on my own, and I found some websites that were catering to the indie scene in Atlanta at the time, which was very, very, very small community. And I just started auditioning, and that's how I got into that.
Well, like I said, we're certainly glad that you did find that. I know that you've worked your way also into the more writing and directing side. So, what are some of the projects that you've worked on the directing and writing side that our viewers should check out soon?
Well, I directed a feature film called Dark Circles that it isn't out yet. It's still in VFX, but I'm thinking it'll probably be finished by March and hopefully out before the end of the year. And it's a thriller horror movie, and it's wonderful. It's about a peeping Tom and the very bad things that happen to him, and it's starring Damien Maffei and Felissa Rose is in that one, and Terry Kaiser, and just a wealth of talent. And so I shot that a few years ago. It's been very slow going because it's such a labor of love, but we're almost at the finish line.
Well, good. We'll look forward to that. We're pretty close, so I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to our first break. We'll be right back with Hannah.
I'm Billy Crank, mother. I didn't even get bit once. Oh, hell.
Stop complaining about line caps. Sometimes a convention will have to cap a guest line, and that means that only a certain number of people will be allowed to get in that line. I often see people complain that they didn't get a celebrity's autograph because the line was capped and they weren't allowed to get in because they weren't allowed to get in the line. So, okay, first of all, it's a math problem. Follow me here. Get your pencil and paper if you want to. Let's say there are 10 hours in the day, and a train is on the tracks signing 50 autographs per hour. Okay, now, then how many people can stand on the tracks and not be disappointed? Look, we know how many autographs most of our headliners can sign before they even show up. We know this because we talk to their agents. We know this because we travel around the country to observe them signing at conventions. And if we don't know the number when they arrive, we can usually figure it out in the first 2 hours of the convention on Friday. Now, if a certain celebrity is signing a certain number of autographs per hour, then why would a convention want to have you stand in line where you have no chance of making it through? And just because you can see the end of the line, what makes you think you're the only person not allowed to get in that line? If we turned away, let's say 100 people before you walked up, what gives you the right to be the next one in line? And yes, now some celebrities are willing to stay late and try to wait on everybody that's in the line. That sounds great to you as a patron. But You are not the ones responsible for closing down the convention floor and clearing out everyone to protect the vendors from theft. No convention ever wants to ruin your weekend by preventing you from getting any particular celebrity interaction. Our goal will always be to provide the best experience to the largest number of people possible. And yes, it is our job to look at the big picture, even if you are the one that gets disappointed. I'm sorry, but that was my soapbox for tonight. And we're back with more with Hannah Fierman, who is appearing at Vet CityCon coming up March 2nd and 3rd. Now, I did say something wrong before. The movie that I thought I wasn't going to be able to watch, but turned out to be free on Tubi, Time's Up.
Okay.
Now, okay. I got to watch it again. That movie has a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
You agree with me, don't you?
Yeah, it's got a lot to offer, but yeah, I found it to be a little confusing.
Yeah, I'm sure it all ties together, but me sitting there, being the doofus I am, sitting there halfway playing on my phone, answering Scarefest questions from Facebook, and then looking up every now and then and seeing some of the best kill scenes. I'll say it, some of the best kill scenes, slasher scenes, anywhere. And I quoted, it was Wolf Hollow. Wolf Hollow was in my notes. That was the one that I knew you'd finally made it. Because, okay, I have this joke, this thing about, okay, Felissa Rose. You go on her IMDb, she's probably done 200 movies by now. She's in like 60 seconds of most of them. Wolf Hollow, the starring roles on IMDb are Felissa Rose and you. And you probably don't have 5 minutes of screen time in that damn movie.
Yeah, I am definitely not the star of that movie. But you know who was, in my opinion, was the big guy with the beard.
Yeah, definitely.
What was his name again?
Oh gosh, I have to IMDb it.
Brandon Crumb, that was his name. Oh my gosh. I watched that and I was just like, who is this guy? I gotta work with this guy. He is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was on point. Now I have to admit, because I'm also the guy that sits back and goes, no, he'd bleed to death. No, he definitely would bleed to death now. So okay, but no, it was a fun movie to watch, except now now you weren't there, I guess, for the entire filming. If I had to critique one thing about it, is the two werewolves look nothing alike. One of them looked like a werewolf. One of them looked like a Sphinx werewolf. Okay, then like the Sphinx cat with no hair. That kind of bugged me.
Yeah, I don't even remember. It's been so long. I remember thinking that the special effects was the best part.
It was on the one werewolf, and maybe more than one. But there was one I just didn't like the makeup. It was all practical effects, so it was beautiful. Now another one I want to ask you about, Terror Trips. Okay, did you Did you like that movie? And the reason I'm asking that, it got slammed by the critics, and I thought it was a solid slasher flick myself.
I loved it. I absolutely adored it. I thought it started off a little bit slow, but once it got going, it got really going.
Yeah, that first scene was weak. Somebody said that in one of the reviews. That first scene with everybody sitting around and they walk up and and it's small talk and that. But yeah, from there I thought once it got going, once again, solid slasher flick. Some of the best. I've never seen anybody gutted better than the people in that movie.
Well, good. Gosh, I can't even remember who did special effects on that movie. Huh. I don't remember.
Well, then we'll figure it out later. But yeah, the only part now, the only thing that threw me, dear, I don't like you in blonde hair.
It didn't suit me. I agree. I was just experimenting. Now I'm purple.
I believe that's what you had the very first time we met down, or actually, I was kind of met in passing. You were down to con in Tennessee, the Smoky Mountain Fan Fest, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And you met my boss, and I think I was introduced as the guy over there or something. But yeah, that's when
You
I
had
actually
you were at the corner by the door, right?
probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got my hair turned purple in Creep Show, and I kept it like that ever since.
Okay, Chad, over to you.
Well, let's talk about your experience making Creep Show. Certainly the horror fans love that, and I know you've been a part of a couple episodes, I believe. So, how did that come about? And tell us a little bit about your roles on those.
Well, Greg Nicotero just contacted, told the casting directors he wanted to cast me in it, and so I just said yeah, and so that's when I did season 2, and that was with Justin Long and Darcy Camden, and Greg was the director of that one, and I mean, I just had the best time ever on that set. Everybody is incredibly good at what they do, but also everybody's just having a really good time. Like, there's no bad attitudes there. Just like, I don't know. I think it might be because, you know, the people on top are also chill and cool, that the good vibes just sort of trickle down. So like, even the PAs are just like, yeah, can I get you some M&Ms? Cool, man. All right. You know, it was just like very, very chill and lovely. And it didn't hurt that I had all these custom wigs, and all of my outfits were tailor-made to me, because if you watch the episode, you know why. And you know, they're all period, and they were just so pretty. And yeah, and the makeup, they kind of changed the shape of my face and the shape of my eyes to match another actress, and that was just a really fun transformation. And then I guess they liked me so much they put me in the 3rd season, and that was also a wonderful experience. That was with Joe Lynch was the director, and Andrew Batchelor was the other actor. Well, he was the lead. I was the love interest, and that was fantastic. I actually think that one might be my favorite out of the 2, story-wise. And yeah, just really lovely people. Yeah.
Good. Well, you don't hear many bad things about any of the people you named, so I'm sure it was a great experience, and you had a good time making it, because it certainly came across in the performance. I do want to shift gears a little bit. Acting, writing, directing. And then I see, and I went and watched it, you also worked on music videos. How did that come about?
Come apart. I did this. I went to a convention. It was one of the first conventions I ever went to, actually. It was called DeadCon, and it was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And it was a bit of a mess, that convention. And so all of the guests that were there had a well, we all got there 2 days early for whatever reason. So we were all hanging out for quite a while before the actual convention got going, and so everybody got to know each other very, very well. And one of the other guests was Drew Fortier and David Ellefson for their band The Lucid, and they also did a movie together called Dwellers, and they were a few tables down from me. And I got to chatting with Drew about my work, and showed him my segment of Dead by Midnight, and he was just like, "Want to direct a video?" And I was just like, "Yes, that sounds amazing." And so we just like threw together some ideas, and really just didn't have any money, didn't raise any, we're just like, let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. And got a bunch of really talented people on board with the special effects makeup. That was Jason Irving, and we just Gordon Cameron shot it for us for free. It was great.
It turned out really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So you did an excellent job on that. Tossing back to you, to Wes.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Rue Morgue magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Subisati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Rue Morgue, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
Our first announcement of the evening, dedicated on best known for American Werewolf in London. That I personally want to see Attack of the Killer Chickens from 2022. Oh, Roger Jackson, the Screen franchise, Screen 2, Screen 3, Screen 4, I'm not going to go down the list, but Roger Jackson is coming to Scarefest 2024. And this was the one, Dick Warlock, best known. I could do a lot of stuff, but yeah, the Halloween, anyway, but I thought he wasn't on the website. This is his official announcement going forward tonight. And don't forget, Scarefest Weekend staff applications are live online. Go to scarefestweekend.com, click the staff link. Also, we're taking speaker applications, and they are rolling in this year. Speaker applications for this year are online, scarefestweekend.com. And our film festival, we're taking, I have not been logged into that. I will be so far behind, but beyond, go scarefestweekend.com. Once again, click the link to submit your independent horror film or short. Okay, Bet CityCon coming up March 2nd and 3rd. And if you'd like to go to Bet CityCon and it not cost you a ticket, I'm going to now tell you how you can win a ticket. I'm going to ask a horror trivia question. Answer this question, but because I'm using this master interface here, I need you to say your name and the answer to the question. Say if you answer a question and do not say your name, it does not count. The first person I see that says their name and answers the question, I will send you 2 weekend pass, watch it fits for hits. 2 passes. Yeah. I'm going to send you Saturday and Sunday passes. Here's what I'm trying to say. 2 passes, Saturday and Sunday. Okay. For that CityCon, go out on the screen right now in Bowling Green, Kentucky, March 2nd and 3rd. Which actress plays a psychotherapist who enters the mind of a comatose serial killer in the 2000 film The Cell? What actress plays a psychotherapist who enters the mind of a comatose serial killer in the 2000 film The Cell? The Cell. Now, while we're waiting on someone to answer that, Evansville Horror Con also coming up March 2nd and 3rd, and I've got tickets for that. That is March 2nd and 3rd, Evansville, Indiana. The question is, and you have to do this one the same way. Daniel Vickers. Okay, look that. We got our winner for Bowling Green. Okay. Now this one I have did the same way. Say your name and the answer if you want tickets to Evansville Horror Con. This 2000 film was about 2 sisters named Ginger and Bridget who struggle with the idea that one of them is a werewolf. 2000 film, about 2 sisters named Bridget and Ginger who struggle with the idea that one of them is a werewolf. While we're waiting on the answer from that, the best of Scarefest TV is on TikTok. Follow us. TikTok. And you'll take you one. The women, no. The top one there, Mike Foley, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, the stringer. Mike Foley actually beat you. I don't know what room he's in to beat you. Okay. Anyway, follow us on TikTok, the official Scarefest for the best of Scarefest TV. And, you can win a golden pass to Scarefest Weekend, or you can win a Weekend Plus pass, or you can win Weekend Pass. Send us your TikTok-style videos. The best, and we will put them out there, and the ones that we decide are the best each month, we're going to give tickets to. Now, so far, nobody taking advantage of this, and you're complaining that you can't buy Weekend Plus passes, and you can't get some golden passes, but you're not willing to put the work in. But the details are on scarefestradio.com. Go to the website, give you all the information, scarefestradio.com, if you want a chance to win tickets to the Scarefest. The Central Kentucky Mystical Market coming up March 9th and 10th. March 9th and 10th, Clarion Hotel, Midtown Pike, Lexington, Kentucky. It will be going on March 9th and 10th. Check them out on Facebook, Central KY Mystical Market, and also on centralkymysticalmarket.com. And this is actually one subscriber mine. I am up to 45 people on the Scarefest and radio cosplay. 5 people away from doing that cosplaying. Yes, that's me talking. I'm using a voice synthesizer because I think it's cool. Sleepaway Camp cosplay, like that, cut-off shirt, hat, Franken go, and if I get 50 at a time, I'll pack up and go. But go to patreon.com/ScarefestRadio.
And welcome back, everybody, to the final segment here we have tonight with Hannah Fierman. Hannah, of course, from VHS, and appearing at Vet CityCon coming up March 2nd and 3rd. Incidentally, dear, you need a publicist. I went on RosterCon to find out where you would be this year. Any other conventions, and they didn't even know you were at Vet City. Again, you need you need somebody out there pushing you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I do not have a publicist. This is true.
I did want to ask you. Okay, now this is one of my. I was interested on one thing that did tell me on your bio. Mercer College, you have a bachelor's degree in communications and economics, correct?
I have a BA in communications and a minor in economics.
Okay. Not exactly acting.
Well, there was some theater arts and creative writing classes in the communications department. I started out as a voice major and then changed my major to communications because I preferred the acting stuff and wanted to focus on that more.
Now I did want to. Now, Chad, this is conversational. You're allowed to, because I have a really bad habit.
I'll jump in.
I have a really bad habit when we do this segment of me just hogging the conversation. Okay. One thing I did want to ask you about here, Hannah. In your 59 IMDb credits, you have some interesting character names. Some of them are easy enough. One of them, you were billed as Lovely Girl. Okay? But I gotta know, where was the one I just saw? Pill Pusher Patty in The Girl's Guide to Depravity. Who was Pill Pusher Patty?
That was a very bizarre show. That was a light comedy that was supposed to be in the gaze of Sex and the City, but for a younger crowd. And it was if you've ever heard of the book The Rules, it is a book from the early to mid 90s that was a list of rules that women could use in order to bag a husband. And basically this was a script written taking that book, doing the exact opposite of whatever it says, and that was the new modern thing that these women were doing. So it actually was a really clever script, and I played a pill pusher, and a very eccentric pill pusher. But honestly, Cinemax picked it up and just turned it into garbage.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's too bad because it really was clever writing, and they actually really did have some pretty good talent in there too. And it was beautifully shot. We shot it in Romania. Yeah.
Now we're the shoot, what was the name of it? Terror Trips. Where was that actually filmed?
So okay, have you ever heard of Florence, y'all? Florence, Kentucky?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I hadn't until I filmed the movie. It was okay. So we stayed. It was during Babs, back in the pandemic. Me and all of the actors from out of town all stayed in this Airbnb together in Florence, and we were right next to that big Florence, y'all, water tank. If you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, everybody in Kentucky knows what that is. Yeah.
Okay, and everywhere that we shot was 45 minutes from Florence. So we shot in Cincinnati, we shot in Indiana, we shot in Kentucky, but they were all just like right there because all the states can convene right there. So yeah, that's where we shot it.
The reason I ask, this is me once again just being myself. I wasn't convinced a couple of the KGB actors were Russian. Because
which one? Okay, so
the main woman actually was the one. If I had to pick one, the main woman, the Gestapo woman or whatever, I forget what the part was, but the woman in charge of everybody,
the one with the long nails and the older woman.
Yes,
or
yes, the older
girl?
woman.
Okay.
My critique on her is that it sounded like she had to memorize the Russian. In other words, it didn't flow. It didn't sound conversational. It sounded like me. It sounded like me in high school Spanish.
I thought she was amazing. Yeah, that was Carol Ann. Okay, out of the other like 5 or 6 people, which ones would you say were either Polish playing Poles or Russians playing Russians?
That's everybody else was convincing. But she's the only one. I have to give her a little credit. She had the most lines. She was the one.
She did have a lot to say.
Yeah, she had the one. She was the one telling them, to gut that person and take that person's kidney. And yeah, spoiler alert, by the way. But okay, fair enough. Now I do want to ask you. You dabbled in directing. Now I heard on another interview you're not crazy about writing.
No, that's not true. It's just not a full-time thing for me. I'm not as good at it as I'd like to be.
Okay, so you enjoy it, but you're not. Okay, fair enough. Do you prefer being behind the camera or in front of the camera?
I like both. Yeah, I really do enjoy both. I think that it's easier acting, but when I have my druthers as a director, it is really, really fun.
Okay.
While we're talking about Kentucky locations, I know you've been working on a movie with a Kentucky director, I believe, PJ Starks, New Fear's Eve. Can you talk any about that project you had coming up? Because PJ has been at Scarefest several times, so I know our fans are aware of him.
I think that one's going to be really fun. I thought that the writing was very unique. The style of comedy is extremely unique to that film. I hadn't seen anything exactly like it ever. And that's another one that was a lot of fun, like just a lot of good creative, silly energy, unbridled, just like letting these comedians, do what they want to. And it was, it was a lot of good fun. And I think that you're going to like a lot of the special effects. I thought it was really well done.
Was that filmed mainly in Kentucky too, I assume?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I think it might have been Kentucky. Owensboro, something like that.
Yeah. Owensboro's, yeah, down in that area. So.
Or is that Ohio?
Yeah, Owensboro's Kentucky.
You know,
it's
when
right
you
on
get
the
there,
Indiana border.
Did you have to drive through a cornfield to get there?
I don't remember. Yes, I think I did.
I've only been to Owensboro one time, and that was my takeaway from it. It seemed like they had to tear up a perfectly good cornfield to build that city.
Oh, that's also Ohio. Did I say Ohio for terror trips?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Cincinnati, yeah.
It was implied.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Tell you a little trivia for you. Okay, now the Florence, y'all, it originally said Florence Mall. And because it's in the parking lot of the Florence Mall. And the city came back and said, you're not allowed to have a billboard that tall. And so they said, we're not going to tear down the goddamn water tower. So they went back and painted it, made the M into a Y. And
that's hilarious.
Now it's legendary. That's what we do in Kentucky. We never tear anything down. We just repurpose it, you might say.
Well, it worked. I will never forget it.
So, and hopefully you had some good chili while you were there.
I did. It was actually really good. Yeah. I don't know about those chips, though. Those barbecue chips that are just like, I don't know, flavor crystals, basically. What are they? Do you know what I'm talking about? Those potato chips?
I think so.
Those Ohio
ones. On the name.
Now, the only one I know of that Ohio's famous for is Hussman's. I don't remember that.
I don't think that was it. It was something else.
But see, now, I don't like that Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati chili. I don't like it. It's too sweet.
I don't remember it being sweet. I don't like my chili sweet either.
I've only had it once. Maybe I just had a bad batch. Who knows?
I think it was good when I had it. Yeah.
Somebody likes it. They're kind of famous for it. So what's on the horizon for you? Okay, we know New Year's Eve is pretty much coming out now. You said that you're working on. You've got one you've directed. Any other gigs that we can look forward to?
I've got so many that are supposed to be coming out soon. I got a list on my phone. But the one I'm most excited about is Bunker Heights. And that's one that I produced and acted in with Drew Fortier. He is the director-writer. And we collaborated and did that one together. And we just raised funds without doing any crowdfunding whatsoever and just shot it secretly with a whole bunch of our friends, and it'll probably be done by the end of the year. We've been just chipping away at it, and it is very funny. And we have the teaser trailer out, so definitely go check it out. It's a crime creature comedy is what we're calling it, and yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
Crime creature.
Any appearances coming up?
Say that again.
Any appearances coming up? I'm sorry, I stepped on Wes, but any appearances coming up you want to let people to know where to see yet? Other than we've talked about Vet City.
You put me on the spot. Yes, there are a few conventions that I am going to do this year, but I can't remember the names of them right now. So, sorry guys.
If you will text them to me, I will have them added to RosterCon for you.
That is very sweet of you.
I did that. Now I'm a sweet guy. Ask anybody.
There's Dansville one that I'm doing soon, and yeah, I'll text it to you. Thank you.
Okay, last question I want to get in for the night. And now I should have led with this because this is like the really most awkward question I have.
Oh no.
VHS. God bless your heart, dear. What were you, 20 when you did that? 21?
I'm not telling you.
What was it like? Okay, you were naked for 2/3 of your time there, in one degree or another. I'm not saying it wasn't tasteful. It was beautifully done, tasteful. What was it like? Because what was that? That was like 5 years into your acting career.
I had been acting longer than that, but it was And nothing, nothing of consequence though. You know what? It was just kind of let's just get it over with. I would just do my job to the best of my ability, just so we could get the shots off, just so we could all go home, because it was difficult. But after a while, it got easier and easier as the shoot went on. It was no longer like nudity. It was just like, oh yeah, it was a naked chick. All right, move the sandbags because we want to get out of here.
And eventually, a naked chick with wings. So there's always that.
Yeah. Yeah. You just get used to it after a while. It's just like being on a nude beach. It's just like, oh yeah. Huh.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's what we have for tonight. Thank you, Hannah, for coming on with us. And everybody, I do want to give you one more reminder. Vet CityCon coming up March 2nd and 3rd, Bowling Green, Kentucky. And Hannah, you should really take my advice and get somebody to do the temptress makeup for you. I'm telling you, rich. Just absolutely.
Yeah. That was beautiful makeup. That was done by Stephanie Anderson, one of the most talented makeup artists I've ever met. She's based out of Atlanta. Amazing. Yes. I would love to be able to do that, but I'm not as talented as her. I'm not going to be up there in my hotel room being like.
Well, I'm sure we could find somebody to do it. We could find somebody to do it for you. So I want to thank everybody. Yeah, wouldn't it though?
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. With this week's review, we're going to talk about a remake that has been around for 6 years, and I'm just now getting to watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's actually an Amazon exclusive. The movie we're going to talk to you today is about Suspiria. The movie we're going to talk about today is Suspiria, 2018 Suspiria. Now, it's a remake of Dario Argento's original classic, 1977, Suspiria. Some of you in here, huge Argento fans. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can appreciate it, but at the same time, it's never, his whole filmography is not something I keep going back to. A few years ago, I was watching an interview with John Carpenter talking about Dario, and he said, it doesn't matter what the plot is, just smoke a joint, turn off the sound, and watch the visuals. I agree with that, except for the drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. But as far as just the visuals, it's pretty. The 2018 Suspiria film is actually really well rated. This movie is 2.5 hours long. The original Suspiria is not that long. It has a young American dancer in the 70s, goes to Berlin to audition for the world-renowned Helena Marcos Dance Company. She somehow becomes the lead dancer and replaces the other one. And what we find out is the people, these ladies who are over this dance company, are witches. And they're over the troupe, and they have a secret as they're trying to raise Satan or something. Truthfully, the plot doesn't matter here so much either. It is slow, but it also has some interesting scenes. However, at the end of the day, I don't know that anything happens. And my problem is something that I want to talk to you about now. Art house horror. And I don't mean this to be derogatory. Some of it is just masturbatory, right? It's just these filmmakers going, oh my God, this is great. Rather than this is solid, we're telling a story and it goes from point A to point B to point C and we're going to make the audience riveted. That's not this movie. In fact, it's 2.5 hours is just ridiculous for this movie to be 2.5 hours long. It took me so many nights to get through this. Now, I grant it, not my cup of tea. It is not a terrible movie. You just have to be that one type of person. It's so convoluted. It makes little to no sense, similar to the original Suspiria. Should you see it or should you not? Because probably a lot of you who are already into this have probably already seen it and think I'm a horrible human being for saying bad things about it now. It's not an awful movie. It's just, why is it so long? Why is it so convoluted? Why? I get it. It's an experience. It's art. You can do that with horror films. The one thing I love about horror films, more than any other genre, I don't love horror more than any genre, but more than any genre, is that you can tell any story you want to in a horror film. What I mean by that is people accept things in horror films that they don't necessarily accept in other genres, like a drama, or even people say this about Westerns, but I think it's a little bit more about horror films. They don't accept it. Horror films, you can tell any story you want to because people automatically go, this is a horror film. I'll accept that. Like a Coven of Witches, and there's some melting lady in the basement who you can understand, and we don't bother to try to because you still can't understand. Some of you are going to get turned off because a third of the movie is in German with subtitles. Don't let that. That's not the problem. The problem is there's very few linear things about this. It's hard to break down. I'm curious. Once again, if you're listening to this or watching this and you don't like me and you have a counter argument against art house horror, please, I want to know. I would love to have this conversation with you. I will buy you coffee or bourbon and we can talk about it. But should you watch Suspiria 2018 remake on Amazon? Well acted. I'm not a big Dakota Johnson fan, but I actually think she's pretty good in this. Is it worth the trip? No. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly.
And welcome back, everybody, to the last few minutes of the show. Me and Chad are here, and Chad, thanks for sitting and watching the show with me.
It was fun. I'm glad I enjoyed doing the interview, and I enjoyed setting up and introducing the interview with you tonight.
I have to find someone to cut my hair. My hairdresser broke her arm. What is the luck of that?
That's hard on her. She's gonna, or him, I'm sorry.
But it's all about me, Chad.
It is. Well, I got some clippers. We'll fade you up.
I actually only need the side. Really, the sides are done. I might need to get my beard clippers.
I can get the dog clippers out and fix it.
You never had a better opportunity to do a Mr. T.
But anyway, it was Hannah was a great guest. It was a lot of fun. And now next week, Joanna and I will be talking to Chad and Chelsea Shepard, the people behind Vet CityCon. We're going to be talking about that next week. My return there. Go back to me and Chad. And because I guess I've only been the 1 year. That's I only remember going there the 1 year, because the next year, the year after I went, COVID, and then heart attack, and then it's all went to hell from there. So,
your triumphant return.
Yes, that's what it is. My triumphant return. So anyway, everybody, looking forward to seeing you next week. Chad, looking forward to talking to you again soon. Everybody join us. See you next time.
Good night.